Hi. Today we're going to be seeing about how to use GPT Engineer. GPT Engineer is an open source project for showcasing the capabilities of GPT-4 and GPT-3 language models. So it focuses on creating complete applications with only using prompts. So we given a prompt and GPT Engineer helps us generate code in order to build these apps that we've mentioned in the prompt. So we have to clone the GPT Engineer GitHub repo in order to perform this task. Let's see what we've done. Make sure we've installed VS Code, and then I've cloned the GitHub. The first thing I did was after creating my GPT assignment folder within my I cloned the GPT GitHub repository into my local. So I've cloned this specific repository as shown here. So and then I move into this GPT Engineer. I've created a virtual into the folder. I've created a virtual environment. So as we can see here, these were the commands I used in order to move into create a virtual environment, and then I've been working on that virtual environment. So here I'm using that, and this is in order to when we try to activate the virtual environment due to system settings it doesn't happen, then we can use this. And it is also important to have an OpenAI API key in order to perform this task. This OpenAI API key we have to copy from. It will be available in our OpenAI settings basically. In our OpenAI, if we go to our yeah so we will be able to view our OpenAI keys. So the thing is, once we have created it once, then we cannot see it again. So we just have to create a new security key and copy the key so that it can be used. We can use the set command to set the API key, and this application will use that. So once we've in the environment, and then there were some installations that I needed to do because my system did not have these installations. As you can see here, I've installed Rudderstack and some other things that were like LangChain, dot environment. All these were required. OpenAI was not in my local system, so I've installed all that I was needed. So once we move into all this, we do this. So we can see that once we've cloned the repository, let me just open the file here. So once we've opened this repository, we can see that GPT Engineer is available, and there are multiple files that are available within this. And there will be this file called prompt. So this is the prompt where we give the command, or we give the prompt which tells GPT Engineer what application needs to be built. So the default example came with a snake game application. So here what I'm trying to do is a simple Python application that will take the height and weight as input and provide BMI as output. So the application should use enter your weight, enter your height. It should display these commands or prompts which will prompt the user to give the inputs near the display. So further, when it has any questions, it will ask us. So just when we give this command, we will see how this BMI calculator application is built. So now I'm executing the command. So this is the command that we use, python-m gpt-engineer.main, and the it's present under projects example. So I'm just using this is the file that gets generated, like bmi calculator.python. So yeah, this will execute now. So as we can see here, it's getting executed, and then it's asking for summaries of area that need clarification. So for this we can just enter, or we could uh, provide the answers for the questions that it's asking to, so that we will obtain an application that is more the way we want, rather than letting GPT assume what we want. So the exact format, the format of height will be in centimeter and weight in kilograms. And method, I think it can use the standard method to calculate BMI, so I'm leaving that to GPT. The user interface has to be GUI, a graphic user interface. User input will be through text. Yeah, through text. And invalid inputs, say input is invalid. Okay, so we can specify all these to GPT. So we've answered the questions that we've asked. So it's so since we've not given the exact method, if I just continue to click enter, so GPT Engineer will make assumptions on how to calculate BMI. So the standard formula for calculating BMI will be used, which is weight in kg divided by height meter square. So that's what we will be using. So it's calculating all this, and it shows the different functions that it's gonna write. So we can see that there is a BMI calculator.py, which has a calculate BMI function within it, which gets the height and weight as inputs and calculates the BMI, and it returns the BMI using the formula weight by height meter square. And there is a main.py file where we're importing this calculate BMI function, and it has an application class where there's an init function. There are create widgets in order, because we've mentioned that we need GUI, so there's a label that displays this and the value for us to enter. And there's a calculate function where the calculation is done, and it says your BMI is this, and it handles the invalid inputs also here, and then a main function. So now that it has created all the code that we need, so you can just press enter, and it will get executed. So the idea is that now we can open this file that it generated. So you can see that there's a BMI calculator.py function that it got the BMI calculator .python function that got generated, which I did not write even one line of code, but it is generated it. So we'll see what it does. So did the generated code run at all? Okay, we can run this code and check whether it ran fine. And did the generated code do everything? When I say yes, it just exits from here. So now we have the BMI calculator.py here. So I'm just going to run this function. Sorry, I should have executed the main .py file. So once I execute this, as we can see, we had asked for a GUI, and here is the GUI that we asked for. So I'm entering a random height, and I'm entering a random weight again, and say calculate BMI. So it gives the BMI is 23.44. So I will give an invalid input, and we can see what's happening. So it says that invalid input, please enter numbers only. What if I don't give anything? maybe I'll just try something like this, and then I give blank, so it says invalid input again. So it has been validated. So we can see that without writing any lines of code, when we just give prompts, how it is able to generate this output for us, generate an application for us. So here, if we want, we can change the prompt to do something else. So we can give the prompt that we want to. So we can give any application as prompt here. Write a simple Python application to display the current date and time, to get the input of a country name and display the current date and time of the country given. Use a GUI. And what else can I give? Country name or empty value is given. Display a message invalid input. So I can change the prompt to what I want, and then I can execute the code again. So here we just say this. So I execute the code again. Okay, so it shows the summary of areas that need classification. So Python libraries or modules that needs to be used, I'm going to leave it to GPT. Format of date and time, I'm going to leave it. Design and layout of the GUI, I'm leaving it. Method for handling, okay, I'm just gonna leave these assumptions to GPT to see what it does. Of course we can change this as we want, but yeah, this time format sounds good to me, and it will use this, which is fine. Yeah, so the one that is not recognized sounds good to me. So we can see that it has started generating the code after it has assumed all the questions it has. So there is an app.py. Okay, so the application will be contained in a single file called app.py is what we've obtained now. So we are able to see an app.py here. We can see how it works, if it works based on our requirements. So there's an app.py. So let me give USA. Okay, I should, okay, I can give Canada and see it. Okay, since it says the country names are invalid, list of countries as a drop down. So this will make our lives easier. So I'm just gonna say give the list of countries as a drop down, so that because I'm typing in the input, that's why it's saying it is invalid. So this is what I'm trying to do now. So I'm letting GPT Engineer make its own assumptions. So this sounds good to me. Yeah. So let's see what happens now. Okay, so the code is getting generated now. So so there is a country time app. Let's see if that is able to work better for our criteria now. Country time app, I'm executing the application. Okay. So it basically has only the country code. I'm giving CA, and it gives us the time and date. So for example, let me give US. Okay, so it shows the Eastern Standard Time, but yes, sounds good. Let me check India. Yes, that sounds right. So the app is generating the time, so that works fine. Yeah. So this is, so it just made a simple error of not importing, so that we can add based on the error that we get, but this is how the code works. Thanks.